Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome back to FTD Facts. My name is Leroy Kenton. Now, originally, Middle Eastern weddings, they were supposed to have only two traditions, which were known as nikah and walima. Another thing to note is that Middle Eastern weddings now start with a meeting between the couple's families and ends with the farewell to a newlywed couple. But with that said, let's get into the specific traditions in this episode. At number 10, we have the tradition of TOLBE. Now, TOLBE or TOLBE is a private event in which only the closest relatives of the bride and the groom are present. Now, the groom formally asks for the bride's hand from her parents. This tradition takes place after both families have agreed to the marriage proposal. Both families give their blessings to the groom and the bride, and the Surah Fatiha is recited. And this is recited by everybody that's present at the event. After that, tea is served with sweets to enjoy and celebrate this whole new agreement, this marriage agreement. Number 9, we have engagement. Now, engagement is also known as khutbah in the Middle Eastern countries, and it's a ceremony in which the bride and the groom, they exchange the rings. So putting the rings on each other's right hands is a very common thing to do. Bride and groom also wear matching color clothing as well. The engagement is pretty much just like a wedding party or dinner party, which is arranged by both parties. Now, moving on to number 8, we have RADWA. RADWA is a small event which takes place 1 or 2 days before the actual wedding. In this small event, male relatives from both families, they go into the bride's home and take care of anything that needs to be done in terms of decorating and setting things up and all of that. And they also make sure that the bride's parents have a great time in this ceremony. The groom's relatives, they make sure to resolve any issue before the wedding, and the eldest man from the groom's side congratulates everyone and gives his blessings. Another cool tradition is the tradition of henna. I love these things. Henna is probably the most common wedding tradition in the Middle Eastern and Arab countries. The bride's female friends sing Arabic songs and they draw henna on the bride's hands and feet, sometimes other parts of the body as well. There's even a henna night. Henna night is just like a bachelorette party for just the females. The friends and family, they dance and sing songs about the bride's new future. They have drinks and food as well, of course. Men also have their own separate party where they typically do things like dancing to traditional music. AL-KITAAB is the tradition next. This is another Middle Eastern marriage tradition. It is a wedding ceremony in which both families sign the marriage documents. The sheikh or the ma'zun lays out the conditions and the rules of the marriage, and specifically in Coptic Orthodox Christianity, as well as in the Ethiopian Tewahedo Church, brides and grooms are dressed up in royal garments, sometimes wearing capes and crowns and jewelry even. The couple are each given a candle to hold in their left hand during the ceremony. And this represents their beliefs in Jesus Christ as the light of the world, and that they will be guided through life by the teachings of the church. The couple's right hands are then joined by the priest as a symbol of unification. So just like that, guys, we reach halfway in this episode, and if you're enjoying this one so far, you definitely will love the video that I've recommended for you. It's about specifically surprising Muslim marriage traditions. Link to that is down below, so you can check that one out after this episode. ZAFFA comes in next at number 5. ZAFFA is a traditional dance that is performed in weddings in Middle Eastern countries, especially in the country of Lebanon. It's like a grand entrance celebration for the newlywed couple. Now, the tradition starts with the bride's father bringing his daughter to the groom, and during this whole event, the band of drummers, they play traditional Arabic music, and in some traditions, actually, the rings are changed to the opposite hand. You'll hear female relatives performing zagruta. Also, traditionally, male and female dancers, they perform a special dance wearing special clothing to welcome in the couple. And also, this is a pretty popular thing, so much so that it was recently adopted by Beirut as well. In some weddings, the ZAFFA performers will carry the bride on their shoulders and bring them to the event. Let's look at DABKE at number 4. Dabke is a folk dance performed by professional dancers in some Arab weddings. Wedding guests also join the dance and dance in a circle. However, one thing to know is that in Egypt, instead of Dabke, belly dancing is done to entertain the guests. For number 3, we have BARMET AL-AROOS. This is a farewell that's given to the bride and groom before they leave. Now, the couple goes into a beautiful decorated vehicle, and the relatives and the friends, they follow the couple to their home and play loud music to let everybody know that this couple just got married. They're making a whole lot of noise up in the streets. Let's move on now to number 2, and this is Moroccan kaftans. Moroccan weddings are among the most traditional in the region. During the ceremony, which can last from 3 days to a week depending on the financial situation of the couple, and it also depends on the region that the wedding is happening in. But the bride wears her best kaftans in the form of a coat or overdress, usually reaching to the ankles and with long sleeves. And finally, number 1, we have Egypt's honeymoon. Honeymoons in Egypt differs from one part of the country to another. When we look at the countryside in Egypt, the newlywed couples, they rarely travel for their honeymoon. Instead, they stay home for the first 7 days of their marriage before entertaining friends and families who come to see them, bring them gifts and food, as well as anything else that they might need. But when you look over into the urban parts of Egypt, married couples, they commonly spend the first night of their honeymoon in a hotel, and that's where they celebrate their union before they travel to a resort. It could be overseas, or it could be a local resort, like traveling to the Red Sea, for instance. So that is it. This was a brief snapshot look at 10 surprising Middle Eastern traditions. Some of them you're probably a little bit more familiar with than others. Some of them were maybe new to you. Either way, guys, really hope you enjoyed this one. As always, be sure to leave your thoughts and comments down below. Also, leave a like on this video if you really enjoyed it. Subscribe if this is your first time here to the channel. That way you can keep up to date with the most interesting and surprising facts around our world as it relates to different countries, cultures, people, and religion. Until next time, guys, stay awesome, stay educated. I'll see you in the next one.